Okay, I think we're running. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Habitat Triage, weekly triage. It is Tuesday, July 31st of 2018, not Thursday, July 31st, whatever year that's going to be. We've got a good number of participants here and not a lot of stuff, so let's see if we eat up the whole hour or not. And first thing I'm going to try to share the right window. Present to everyone. I think that's you get. Everyone can see that. All right. Maybe I should ask. Do you think would somebody volunteer to be the fingers on keyboard if we need to sort of pass any follow-ups? It's more than I can.
Yeah, I can.
It's more than I can get in a minute. Okay. All right, so we are starting kind of newest to oldest across our repos. So we've got first up is from Builder, issue 562, upstream not storing packages in Minio. I have this odd feeling that Ian might be, after reading it, might have some feedback.
So Chris is the person who initially kind of brought this up in Slack in the forums a few days ago, which is how the emergent work for getting the force uploads and getting the validation in was working. But this is specifically related to the upstreaming.
Oh, okay.
So, and I haven't actually looked at this, but I do think, based on the conversations we've had, this is likely the actual bug.
Okay.
We had initially thought, like, well, maybe this is an issue with some kind of a race condition where people are uploading and it's not actually getting uploaded. But I think what we've actually been seeing is that this may be only happening with when people request a package and then the package is not there already. Then what happens is we have a background thread that goes and will go to your configured upstream and will pull that down and write that to storage.
Right.
But so there might be a bug in there. Basically, this should probably just get thrown onto the backlog and accepted, because there's something wrong there, even if it's not 100% what we imagine.
It's possible, I think, that there's some issue or a bug, but we would have heard more widespread complaints about upstream not picking things up, and I know
that's
for
true.
a fact that upstream the download has worked for people. So
I guess until we've ruled it out, is it fair to say that probably falls in the bug bucket?
Yeah, I think it's a bug. Investigate.
Yeah.
I don't think we investigate bucket, but yeah, we should look in to see if we can repro this. This should be a reasonably straightforward one to repro.
And I guess these don't yet really apply. I don't think. I could be wrong. I think they're a little more pull request driven for our changelog. Okay, that is probably enough to work that along, I guess, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm not going to close the issue. I'm going to close the tab.
The tab, yes. And I'm just going to actually go ahead and assign myself that issue, because I'm already looking at it. So
this issue is out of core plans. It's 1737, version plans, migration / build versions. Welcome to the worst title issue ever. All right.
He does have a point.
Yeah.
And sorry if y'all were hearing me typing. I just realized the mic was unmuted. This is something I think we should do.
So this is our current process.
Yep.
Paragraph 2 package.
Yeah. There's, oh man.
Would this what I'm trying to think is, do you think this would have an implication? Like, would this be something that we might want to RFC the change into the existing process? Does this affect? I got a feeling like this could tweak kind of what we're currently doing, possibly in a complementary way, anyways. But
it definitely adds to what we're currently doing, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
So, Ian, do you think this should be RFC'd, or someone could propose a change to the existing RFC around version?
I think it probably does need an RFC. It probably should have an RFC. That's probably not a bad idea. But we don't need an RFC until somebody has some kind of proposed solution.
Yeah, so I mean, this could also be a needs discussion.
Yeah,
that's where it is right now.
Yeah, because there's a few ways we could solve that, and we probably wouldn't get an RFC until we've had some idea of how to solve it. So maybe Graham does. Maybe he does have some idea.
Cool.
I would say I think we have a needs discussion.
Yep.
That's somewhat in this bucket. Now, am I missing anything relevant for the moment? I guess this isn't really one right now.
Right. It'd be in the RFC's repo if it was.
Right, yeah. And I'm trying to remember for our needs discussion, do we sometimes just kind of keep this here, or do we pull it in? I know
we have in the past just kind of put that on there and then left it in the needs triage and then brought it back up in the next triage session. But I think we're all in agreement this is something we need to do something about. So it's probably worth just throwing it in the backlog.
All right. Makes sense to me. All right. Let's look at a Habitat repo issue with big numbers, 5390. Habitat supervisor wildcard commands should be able to determine control gateway IP port of a local supervisor. I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yep, definitely.
I see. Oh, I already have a little bit of discussion on there. So I suspect that might need a little bit of thinking through. If there was a reasonable way that it could determine that. So the reason that I guess I was confused initially is I thought, well, if it is that localhost IP address, that is the default, so we're good. The problem being is if you tell the supervisor, I don't want you just to listen there, I want you to be on a specific address. Now that default may or may not work depending what that is. If you use the all zeros or a specific one, you may or may not be in luck.
Well, especially if you go in and change what the listening port is, that's going to have to be manually specified for won't it, even for local?
Sorry, what? Say that maybe one more time.
So if you change the port, like that cuddle gateway port is configurable, right?
Right.
So if you change that port, by default, does like have soup status would you need to specify that?
I suppose you would have to change that when you're running your status commands, which is a little unfortunate. So yeah, I think that comes to the heart of this issue, is if there was a way to know that. I guess it would be like extending the defaultness to not be static, but a little bit more try to discover what it would be in order to try and do maybe a more natural right thing. Anyways, it is. I mean, I personally am not opposed at all to the idea. It's kind of it'd be reasonable for an end user, I think.
There's another issue that Irving had opened a while back that's somewhat related that he's linked here as well. And that's the one that's like about habitat finding an open port if there's not, the one that it should bind to isn't.
That is a little bit related. Yeah. Well, is that likely work that we would want to kind of take on and look at more?
I think this one probably is. If you have to specify that port, if you can't just run hab soup status against local with a non-standard port, then yeah. But I guess yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of a bug.
It's definitely enough of a usability weirdness that somebody could, yeah, I could see that being argued as that feels weird to me. Okay, so at a minimum, we are talking about the supervisor. Oh, it's hard to, yeah. That's either a feature to be more natural, or you could consider that well, okay, so I guess it is working the way that it's supposed to be. So I guess I could say feature and I'll be charitable.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's just, I don't know exactly. It's probably a little on the less easy. Talking about these things, that's going to be talking about supervisor. Yeah, unless there's anybody who kind of thinks otherwise, I would just likely put that in the backlog and out of triage. All right. Okay, so habitat issue 5385, and it is a question about exporting to Linux Kit. It sounds good to me. I am trying to remember now, there are a lot of projects out exactly what the Linux Kit entailed, but I think we could probably figure that out quickly enough, unless anybody else here can remember off the top of their head.
I think so I thought it was for like building custom like unikernel type things. Maybe it's not.
I think there's also a container kit with that there may or may or may not be a thing, and that might be why I'm confused.
Oh yeah, Linux Kit is a toolkit for building custom, minimal, immutable Linux distributions.
That sounds kind of interesting.
I don't know anything about Linux Kit. This is one that probably needs some research.
Yeah.
This definitely feels like a help wanted bucket.
That could be. We would at least need probably a little more detail. I guess that would be exporter.
Yeah.
Feature-ish. It's hard to
guess it's not going to be too easy, I don't imagine. I mean, if it's a fresh exporter, which it would probably be, it's probably a non-trivial amount of work.
Well, I guess I could pre-guess. I'll just say that, I guess. Most likely dealing with Linux. That is a little up in the air, I suppose. And I guess we're kind of in this bucket.
And I would also put it in help wanted with the help wanted label because I don't imagine it's the first request we've had for an exporter for Linux kit. It's not necessarily something that I think if somebody wrote an exporter that worked, we would definitely accept it.
Yeah.
But I don't see it getting prioritized, at least on the immediate term, as work that we'd be undertaking.
It would be kind of it would be good to understand a little bit more, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, you could definitely. Do you want me to leave a quick
Oh,
comment
yeah, sure,
there?
sure.
Okay.
All right. Oh, it's because I didn't. So, do we put that in backlog then? Is that the way to get that out of here?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So Builder 552, modifying package settings, shouldn't attempt to crawl GitHub when a plan is already configured. And I love pictures.
Yeah, I agree with this one too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Me
really
too.
Good experience.
Yep. It should just. I mean, in some way, you want to be able. So this is a user experience thing. I think we should take a closer look at. Yeah, I agree. Something not having to go through this step just to change something that happens on the next screen is a bummer.
Right.
So yeah, let's just let's put it in the backlog for sure, and we'll bring it up. Design.
Say that affects Builder. But I mean, I guess you can think of it as a feature. It is a usability weird thing. The good thing is we'd be talking back to GitHub a whole lot less, which would be great. Don't know what that might entail. Well,
There's some JavaScript in there. Probably just the JavaScript and HTML. I don't know. Those should probably just be like collapsed somehow. But yeah, if you throw v front end on there too, and a V builder,
that's what I'm looking for.
That's good, I think.
And builder.
Yep.
All right.
Cool. Thank you.
Sounds good. All right. So we've got Habitat 5377. HabSoup run with help routes to launcher and exits with an exit code. Yeah. I would really like to avoid a run through the launcher if that's appropriate myself.
Yeah. So the exit code thing,
I don't think that's valid anymore.
It is possible that it's not. This is, I think it was either the version command or the help that I was trying to find the path through to try and repro this. I don't remember if I did or not, but yeah, is that worth following up, do you think, John? Or it'd be great if this wasn't an issue anymore.
I'm pretty sure this. Can you scroll down just a little bit, Fletcher?
Yeah.
Let's definitely follow up. It might be still an issue.
Just to quickly check on it, I'm pretty sure this. Well, I could just check and find out on it myself. But I'm pretty sure I ran into this recently when I was doing some docs-related fixes. But
Now, it looks like it was the last stable release. So I don't know if this was likely something that.
Yeah, it is still valid. The one we fixed was just like HabSoup -- help. Run is the special one because it gets routed to the launcher and like doesn't do.
I didn't see that little bit. Run is important because that is something that effectively sort of round trips, and there'd be a way to avoid that, but that is getting into a hairier situation. Okay. I kind of agree. It'd be really great if we didn't get however it routed. It probably should exit 0, even if launches in the mix. But does that rise to the level of bugness, do you think, John? I kind of feel like it probably, just for correctness, it probably isn't totally right, even though.
Yeah, it's definitely not entirely right, but I also see it as like very low priority.
Yeah. Well, all right. That is likely something that we would take a look at. Probably if somebody also is able to help out there, that also is helpful. I guess that's probably, I don't think we would have gone out of our way to make that behavior exactly as is. So I guess that's a buggish thing, but I'm going to say it's at least less easy, only that the routing through a couple CLI parsing and another subcommand, and like there's a little bit of a journey in that particular part, but not to say we can't unravel it. And I guess that's in the supervisor bucket. Okay. So we've got core plans 1724, edge versions in core plans, how to resolve. Oh.
Oh, well, that is good to know.
Yeah.
I keep trying to move the Hangout faces like you can do in Zoom, but nope.
Oh, in here. I feel like I need a way to share everybody these URLs so people could just click on them. And that's also why I was reading the numbers out, is I'm usually in another window trying to like bring it up myself. I think this likely could just be a discussion for the moment.
I agree on that.
Yeah, it's feeling like it's evolving that way naturally anyways. That is an interesting.
Yep, and I'll make sure to go and weigh in on that after this.
Yeah, let's see, what am I looking for? Discussion. Yeah, and I will try to as well. I think my quick one is it might come down to the upstream's intent for but it's a little weird because like if there's stable versions, that's probably the upstream's intent that it meant to be stable. Anyways, yeah, I'll try to add some words there as well. Okay, so we've got builder issue 542, allow nginx config augmentation, and I believe this came up about 7 days ago when we looked at this. So this likely will need a little bit of discussion, like we labeled last week. And it looks like that is starting to happen. So we probably should figure out how to keep that one or drive that to some kind of a conclusion. Is that appropriate to leave that in the need triage, or I guess it came up? But
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a core plans one, which is 1705. Automatic update of console caused it to be unable to read config. Sounds a little not good. Ah.
Huh.
There's more here. Oh, there is a little bit. It's possible what we may have to do in this situation is maybe try to account for that in the init hook as just sort of a, you know, quote unquote upgrade activity kind of thing, if that's possible.
Is this not because of something in the init hook?
It could be.
The hab user doesn't have permissions to hab service console config. That doesn't sound right.
So it might be because it was previously maybe owned by root, so maybe permissions wise
Oh,
now
maybe we
the
used to
new
run
version
it.
of the package
Yeah.
it's now run as a non-root user, and it's like, hey, I can't read the file that I thought I was supposed to
I
do
bet
because
that's
I
what it
already have a
was.
service state. So that might be a fixable thing in a init, or that's an interesting.
We've run into this
problem.
before.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a class of things we need to keep in mind for changing things across versions, and where we can account for them, and where we might need to, like, I don't know, raise a note, or I guess we do probably need to pull that in at some level. I'm not sure if I would consider that exactly what that is. I guess it's a bug to an extent. It was a minor. It also might need a little more discussion, I'm not sure. All right, well, I think that's reasonable for the moment. Got another core plan, 1688 for Postgres. Changing superuser creds via have apply doesn't change the admin's password. That's interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that have apply was aliased to have config apply.
It is one of our few shortcuts. Yeah, so there is a like an alias shortcut for apply. Is it possible there might be something that needs to be run in Postgres? Like, I'm not sure what the activity is for, like, I'm going to change the root password, but it probably does involve something, right?
Yeah, probably. There's something in the init hook that's probably validating. We probably do it in the init hook, and we probably don't do anything to update it once it's initially established.
Right.
I would assume.
And the fun part will be, here's my current state, which is a new password. Now upgrade me when I might need the older password, which I may or may not have anymore. This might be an interesting dance. But yes, that's probably something we should either look at or say that we don't support it if it's like truly not going to be. Right. Yeah, I wonder if this is expected or not.
Yeah, Graham's suggestion here is the right thing, I think, for this. But I don't know that it solves 100% of the problem that the original poster had.
Right.
Like, ideally, I feel like using in production, using core plans directly without doing any kind of wrapping for configuration might be not the best way to operate, especially with things like Postgres. I tend to take whatever core plan and write a configuration plan that just takes that thing and adds in my expected behaviors, which would alleviate a situation where you're having to like have config apply a password change right into your ring or whatever. But I also feel like you should be able to do this, even if it's a less than ideal situation.
So nice and thorough. All right. Would you have a preference, Nell, for how we might want to categorize this one? It is something that we might still have to potentially
discuss
keep.
more?
Yeah.
I'm okay with needs discussion for right now. We can
Okay,
revisit it next week's triage.
It does feel like you could go a couple different directions, either of which would probably either making like a plan's README clearer, or making the like supporting the behavior kind of thing out of the box. And I could fall on either side of that myself. Actually, I can at least bucket it. All right.
Cool.
And that's interesting how, well, it's in needs triage, but it's also old. Are we like just at the end of everything? How did this happen? This is cool.
So this issue was I just reopened it.
Okay.
You gotta scroll to the bottom. Basically, like we added in the flag for enabling you to pass your auth in to builds so that you could build from private repos. But
Okay.
Irving, and at the time, we were running private builds, and I was not seeing this same behavior in Builder at all.
I see.
It was only from the CLI and local builds. But Irving has an origin that he sent to me towards the end of last week. It was like effectively that he's still seeing this, or he is now seeing it in Builder. Okay. So I haven't had a chance to investigate this yet, but I'm planning to. My thought is that it's when we fixed this initially, what it was effectively that like we were taking that auth argument that we have, and as we pass it into the build program, we were basically just it was an optional parameter, and we were passing it none.
Okay.
Explicitly. So it was just as a simple like wire cross thing. Once the flag was there, then we could get rid of the none, and then we're passing in just based on whether or not the flag is specified.
Yep. Okay.
But I thought that with that change, what would happen is it would go, if the environment variable was set, it would then pull that in automatically because of it no longer being hard coded to a none value. And that's how I was seeing it locally.
Okay.
This is like the first example that we've seen of it actually happening in Builder, and I haven't actually had a chance to go in and look at the logs yet to see if it's 100% the same. But I trust Irving, so this can go back into the backlog, and you can assign it to me. It's already assigned to me.
Looking like we're 99% there. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Cool.
Well, that might. I guess that gets us through the list, doesn't it?
That's it. That's everything. That's everything for this week. Wow. So I guess we can give everybody 20 minutes back.
That's all right with me. Well, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.
Thanks, everyone. See y'all next week.